Alright, are we ready, Kit? Today is a brand new adventure. We are saying goodbye to Barb. We said goodbye to Barb last night, actually. Today it is 51 degrees outside at 7:23 in the morning.
In a quarter mile, on East Broadway Avenue.
Oh, this could be prophetic. Thursday, September 11th. Look at the sun lighting up the hillside over there. I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning to a pretty big rainstorm. Rained most of the night last night, actually. Night before last, we slept on the street here. Well, not on the street, but parked on the street. And last night we went around the corner there, which was actually much, much quieter. So yay for that. And today, we start a brand new adventure, right, Kit? We're going on adventure. Today, we start camp hosting in Yellowstone National Park. Kind of funny overall. So first of all, I thought I might want to consider camp hosting in 2 or 3 years when I really think I'm finished traveling. Wasn't ready to do it now, but you know, when opportunity knocks, sometimes you got to answer the door. Swing it wide open and say, come on in. See if we can get that to stay still. So here's what happened. Well, first of all, here's what happened. I guess I'll tell you the whole story. So, Barb and I have been traveling together for 3 months over the summer, and our last 2 big stops were going to be Yellowstone and the Tetons. Look at the sun lighting up the mountainside. Boy, is that pretty. Pretty. Looks like we're going to be driving back up into another storm, though.
Continue on East Broadway Avenue for 3/4 of a mile.
And see, I digress. See the sign that says no parking this street? So basically, within Jackson Hole, Wyoming, you can park on the street for 72 hours, provided you're outside of the main city core. And they've got a map that shows you what streets that includes. And then I guess there are also certain streets that have no parking marked on them. It's wine, liquor, beer. That looks like it's kicking it old school. So we've been traveling together. Our last 2 big parks are going to be Yellowstone and Tetons. And then we wanted to, it was really funny, we planned to come to Jackson Hole because she said, you got to go to the $1 Million Cowboy Bar, have a drink on the bar stools. We went there yesterday. It was so noisy and so crowded. We decided not to have a drink on the bar stools. I know, I saw that puppy too, Kit. Thanks for letting me know. And instead, we did a picture on the bar stools and then went next door and ate. But here's what happened when we got to Yellowstone. So we came to Yellowstone from the north. We were way up in Glacier, and then we started coming south to get down into Yellowstone. Came in the northern entrance of Yellowstone up by Mammoth, and we had booked 4 nights at the Indian Creek Campground. No generators, which we missed. In all fairness, I'll say we missed it when we, scrolled down at recreation.gov and check the box that says you've read all of the conditions and stuff and you agree. Now, somehow we both missed no generators. Less of a big deal for me. Barb occasionally needs to run hers more frequently. She doesn't have anywhere near as much solar as I do.
Right onto US 191 North, US 26 East.
This is downtown Jackson Hole, by the way. We are coming into today. Oh, interesting. This is a completely different direction than I've come in before. There are the famous antlers.
At the light, turn right onto US 191 North.
I bought my first ever Yeti Cup at High Country Outfitters yesterday, and I have to say, I liked it even more than I thought I would. Teton, Yellowstone National Parks. Here we go now. There's the $1 Million Cowboy Bar. And just past it here is Local. That's where we ate. And we're going to go by where we had to park. So what we did to park here yesterday, because it's pretty difficult, we dropped my rig off at Staples and left it there with the poor kidster. And I'm actually glad I made him stay home alone this time because it was very crowded. This parking lot over here to the right, that's where we parked. Free parking. We had to walk a couple of blocks back up to the shopping district. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so we went, we had this reservation at Indian Creek Campground. And we get there, and the two sites that we had reserved were not as advertised. They said, one said it was a moderate grade, I think, the other one said it was a slight grade. One said it would take a 30-foot rig, the slight grade. I don't remember what the other one said. But the reality was neither one of us could get in and get anywhere near level. Now after that experience, I have new leveling block, which I had already ordered, thanks to Chris and Aaron at Irene Iron Travels. I saw them on their channel, and I thought, you know, bigger is better. So I've got 6-inch leveling blocks now. Hope I don't need them. Yeah, I hope I don't need all 6 inches, but it's nice to have the opportunity. We're in the National Elk Refuge at the moment. Maybe we get to see an elk this morning, maybe not. Beautiful sunlight hitting the hills though, that's just awesome. So, we're trying to figure out what to do with that whole situation. And one of the camp hosts come up, and about this time Barb and I decided we were going to try switching sites and see if we could figure out a way to make it work, switching sites between us, between the ones we had reserved. And I was chatting with the camp host, and he looked up and saw all the solar on my roof, and he said, "Hey, you want a camp hosting job?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, I don't think so." But thanks for asking. And I said, "So I don't know. Tell me what this is about." And he said that they needed a camp host at Lewis Lake, and the issue that they've been having is that there's no electricity there, and so they're having trouble getting a camp host because they need to be able to live off of solar. Well, I live off of solar all the time. I can't even remember hardly the last time I've been plugged in. Let me think about that. When was the last time I plugged in? At the CCC campground just south of the North Unit of Theodore Roosevelt in North Dakota. Yeah, that was the last time I plugged in. So I think that's probably been close to a month. And only did it because it was available and easy and cheap. And I think before that, the last time I had plugged in was in mid-June at the Kaiba RV Park near Pipe Springs National Park. That time I did it because it was bloody hot. Also cheap though, $15 a night for full hookups. That wasn't too bad. Anyway, so I don't care about full hookups. But even so, they have no electricity, but they've got water, sewer, and propane for their camp hosts. And the thing I think is really cool is I only have to be here until October 13th. So basically it's a month. And if it turns out, and I get to find out whether or not this is something I'm interested in doing, and if it turns out that it is, I'll already have a leg up for other national parks. And if it turns out it's not something I want to do ever again, well, I spent a month to find out, and now I know. So, seems like a win-win all the way around to me. And also a win because what I expected, and it turned out to be true, was that Yellowstone was so bloody crowded. There was a lot of stuff that we missed. I didn't really get to do any of the hiking that I wanted to do while we were there. And I did the boardwalk around Geyser Basin. Didn't get to do the paint pots. Did get to see Old Faithful. So I figured if I got a month there, then the chances are pretty good I might be able to go do some of this stuff on my days off that I wasn't able to do previously. So we were there the week after Labor Day, and although I expected it would be much less crowded and kids should be back in school midweek, that wasn't necessarily true. It was still very crowded. Now the campground that I'm going to be hosting at apparently is a relatively small campground.
Wake up with the sun in our eyes. Sally forth, no need for goodbyes. Journey calls, let's roll the dice. Every mile a new surprise.
Entering Grand Teton National Park. And so the reality is I'm going to basically sit still for a month, which means I'll save a bunch of money on fuel. Probably good. I think I spent $780 on fuel last month. I've only got 62 miles to my destination. I'm going to stop along the way somewhere. Are there elk out there probably? With all those cars stopped there, maybe. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, so basically, yeah, I'm not going to have to get fuel before I leave, I don't think. Google says I'm going to arrive at 9:02. I said I'd be there by 10 o'clock. So I'll stop up here at some point and get a little bite for breakfast, take Mr. Kit for a WALK because he hasn't been out yet. I decided to just go ahead and leave, which I'm just as happy about since it was pretty wet, although it looks like it's going to be pretty wet all the way up the road. When we came through here a couple of days ago on our way south, I just drove right over the top of the circle instead of driving around it. That was a little weird. I'll drive around it this time. How about that? National parks this way. Look at the Tetons. Not getting too much of a view of them with all the cloud cover. Excuse me. But today it's definitely cloud cover and not the smoke that we had. So the first day we went through the Tetons, and then we went and camped in the Bridger Teton National Forest with what should have been a great Teton view, but you couldn't even see the mountains for the smoke when we got up there. And then the next day we had views, and then the day after that it was all smoked in again. The next day we had views, I think, and then it was all smoked in again. I think that was the day we left. Anyway, been a pretty wonderful season of travel, and I've done a recap conversation with Barb about what that season of travel was like, mostly from her perspective. Of course, I just shared some of mine as well, and that video is already out. I'll try to remember to put a link to it here for you. There's an airplane taking brand new and unknown. And of course, all of the thoughts crop up. Will I be able to do the job? I'm pretty sure I will. It's not all that stressful. Will they like me? Will I like the job? Here's my biggest two fears, because I do not like cold weather. Number one, am I going to be able to tolerate the cold? And number two, am I going to be able to tolerate the need to be out at night? Because I got to be out possibly after dark, although I get out of here before we lose daylight savings time, and I don't think I have to be out after about 7 o'clock. So that should be okay. But yeah, I mean, it just, the kinds of things that we think about. And I think most of us do this whenever we're going into a new situation. I know it's true for me. It's all the what ifs. All the what ifs. So what are your thoughts? First of all, I'm curious. Would you have just decided to take this job on basically no notice? I mean, I could have started the day after they asked me about it, and I talked to the campground manager. But I said, I've been on this road trip with a friend, and we hadn't planned to stop until we got to Jackson Hole, and I have a bunch of packages coming in there. So I can be back up on Thursday. And he said that would be great. Hopefully. He said he thought he had somebody else that was going to be starting this week as well. Or he had somebody else that could start on the 19th. And I guess they're pretty desperate to get the help because, I mean, really, if somebody's coming in on the 19th, by the time they get trained and organized, and we're done on the 13th, that's not very long. I mean, it's short enough for me, but that's even shorter. Alright, we got some more rain coming up here. I'm going to hope my windshield wiper doesn't go flying off because it came off yesterday when I was washing the windshield. So that was unexpected. But hopefully that won't happen again. And it looks like we're driving into some rain and clouds and overcast, and I didn't ask him what happens if I feel like I need to run my generator. This is another no generator campground. But my reality is, if I really need to run it, I'm going to run it. Well, here's the turnoff to the right for where we camped, and the turnoff to the left for the Cunningham cabin, which was pretty cool. There's a motorhome all the way down there right now. I wonder if they spent the night. I actually had the thought last night about coming back up this far and trying to stay down there. But the rules are very clear about not overnight parking in any of the turnouts or overlooks or anything. And I didn't want to take a chance on getting a knock on the door. And I was tired by the time we got back to where we parked last night. I think we got back about 4:30 or 5. And even though there was plenty of daylight left to have come back up here, I just thought, no, I'm tired. I want to just relax, watch some TV, do stuff like that. And there's people parked along the road there. Same thing. I don't think that's legal. And I wasn't willing to take a chance. We've still got 42 miles to go, 59 minutes according to Google, which if we drive it straight through will put us at the campground an hour before I need to be there. Oh, there's water in that creek today. There wasn't when we came south before. Interesting. I we've got a buffalo crossing. Well, that's pretty cool. There you go. Running off over there. Well, that's very cool. We got plenty of people that have stopped along the side of the road so they can take pictures and watch them. Remember, don't try to pet the fluffy cows. A lot of people with a lot of really long lenses out there. There's a pretty good Teton view. So that gatekeeper pass, gateway, I don't know, whatever word I'm looking for there, was indeed the entrance to the Grand Tetons National Park. And what I noticed when we left here a couple of days ago was that we had not had to go through an entrance gate to get into Grand Tetons when we left Yellowstone. And I think the reason for that is that you can't get to the Tetons from Yellowstone without having gone through a gate. But I saw a south entrance gate for Yellowstone, so I don't know what the deal is there. Guess we'll find out. But look at that view. Just look at it. Still got an awful lot of overhanging clouds, but this is more like the Teton views I was expecting. And coming south, we didn't see any of it, just because it was so smoky. I had thought about going to Coulter Bay to get breakfast, but I don't want to detour that far. And I think what I really want to do is find a pullout. I got a hard-boiled egg, I got an apple. I think we're going to call that good. Well, let's not lose another opportunity for another Teton view. And I guess if your routing permits it and you really want to see the Tetons, come in from the south. Because coming from the north, all I saw was like this forest of trees we're about to dive into. And I never saw the Tetons at all coming south. Part of that might have been the smoke, but mostly I think it's because we were driving through trees like this. And so all of this was behind me and not in front of me as it is now. Pretty cool. We're going to go around one more corner. I think there'll be another view that opens up right there. Let's see if I'm right. Maybe not. Maybe so. What do you think? We have something coming here? Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. We just stopped here at Sergeant's Bay picnic area. Kit got a little walk in. I made breakfast for both of us. I had a hard-boiled egg. He had dog chow and a couple treats. He hasn't actually eaten yet. And I got an apple cut up to bring with me. Oops. Let's wait for that car. And we have 27 miles to go. by 9:30 now. It is 8:47. Alrighty. There were some interesting, well, semi-interesting trails at the little picnic area there. I'm not 100% sure that they weren't game trails, but I don't think they were. And of course, it was wet and mucky, so I had to dry his feet off and take my shoes off when we came back. I think we're going to have a lot of that over the next month. Oh well. It'll be fine. This is going to be my exercise in learning how to live with cold weather again. I'm not a fan. I don't think I'll be a fan. But I think what I'm going to find out is that to a certain extent I've been telling myself a story about how bad it is. And yeah, cold's a relative thing. I think we might get down into the 20s overnight, and my biggest concern there is that if we're in the 20s early in the night, the possibility of freezing exists. And so I might have to run my tank heaters, which will suck a lot of battery. And then if it's like super cold for much of the day, my batteries won't charge because it'll be too cold. Fortunately, my SOK battery, which is what fires the original 12-volt system as installed from the factory, is a lithium battery now that has its own built-in heating system, so that's good. And my Battleborns, I think, although they don't have heaters, but the BMS will just shut them down so that they're not operating, trying to charge if it's too cold. So, it'll be fine. So we got a tractor with a sickle bar mower being followed by a parked vehicle, which is directing traffic. The traffic it is directing is to tell those people oncoming to slow down and tell me to stop, because it's not safe for me to try and pass them here. So back in many decades ago, 4 decades, 5 decades, in my early 20s, I had a landscape contracting business, and I used to do a lot of county road mowing maintenance. So I've operated many a sickle bar, and so yeah, you get to a post, and you got to pick it up, and then get on the other side of the post and put it back down. So is this another one? What are we doing here? This one's just standing out in the road. I guess I'm going around him. Wasn't too bad. By the way, we are still in Teton National Park. We have not yet gotten back up to Yellowstone, even though we only have 24 miles to get to Lewis Lake. And just like that, we're leaving the Grand Tetons behind. So I guess we're about to come into Yellowstone. Or maybe there's a no man's land between. We're traveling on the Rockefeller Memorial Road, and I'm presuming that this was a fire at some point. All these dead trees. There are some blackened trunks over here I can see, and I'm going to guess probably at least 2 years ago, because of the regrowth of the vegetation at the ground level. Let's hope for some sun, because I will be struggling if I've got a month of overcast, gray, cloudy skies and a lot of trees. Because one thing I know that is true is that I have seasonal affective disorder. That's the one where too much overcast, not enough sunlight, makes you depressed. And I think that's part of the reason I claim to abhor the cold, because I associate cold weather with cloudy, overcast weather, even though that's not necessarily true. Well, look at that view. Just look at it. We're at 7,200 feet descending. We were probably about 7,250 at the top. Oh, and I think I see the line on the map for the beginning of Yellowstone, maybe. Maybe, not sure. Well, we're coming up on Yellowstone. Here's all the people taking their pictures. Look at them. I don't quite understand why that is such a, well, I kind of understand why it's a big thing, kind of don't.
Hi, welcome to
Good morning.
Oh, you got a cute little dog in there. Oh.
Thank you. He's getting ready to start his camp hosting job. I'm good.
Are you going?
I am.
Okay, I'll be up there shortly when I'm finished here.
Oh, no worries.
But Josh should be up there sometime soon.
Okay, cool. I always figure if I'm not early, I'm late.
Yeah, go ahead and just hang out at the ranger station there.
All right, sounds cool.
Well, welcome, Sally.
Thank you. And what's your name again? I'm sorry.
Emily.
Emily. Perfect. See you soon.
Thank you. See ya.
All right, well, that was fun. It's pretty cool that they all know who I am. I feel better about this already. Welcome to Yellowstone. Here we have another lovely view of the green rocks on the left and the Yellowstone Lake on the right. Yellowstone River, I mean. That's pretty spectacular. And we're only about 3 miles from the campground. So we're going to get to see the lake. We're going to find out all the things. Yeah. That's what we're going to do. And it's only 48 degrees. It was 50 degrees in Jackson. Or just north of Jackson. And it's now 9:30 in the morning, so yeah, I guess I'm going to be wearing pants from here on out. So much for my motto that if I have to wear pants all day long 2 days in a row, I'm in the wrong location. I don't think I'm going to be able to live up to that for the next month or so. Oh well, it'll be fine. And I did buy pants while we were in Jackson Hole. So I have 2 pair of, appropriate pants. And 3 pairs of leggings and a pair of tights. So I'm sure I'll be fine. Well, we got a big slowdown here. Lewis Falls parking. Oh yeah. So this is 1.5 miles from the campground. myself up to the point where I'll be able to hike out to here and take a look at myself. Look at how many people are here already. It's 9:30 in the morning. A lot of people. Look, it's a traffic jam, Kit. And I was going to drive through it when we were heading south, but the sign for the campground says maximum 25 feet, and I'm 28. But I asked about that when I talked to the campground manager about the job. He said, no, you're fine, that's just for regular campers. I guess it's pretty tight. Hopefully my site's not super tight. But I guess we'll find out, huh? Vehicle limit 25 feet. Campground full. And of course, as soon as Kit heard the GPS say destination, he started barking. So you're getting a voiceover as we drive into the campground here. You're going to be able to see the boat ramp basically straight ahead of us. And this is all the day-use parking off to our right here. As I learned later, when I had to run my generator and I was on duty, I'd have to drive down here to do it because it was outside the campground. We're going to make the left here, pull into the campground, and then we got to wait just a little bit to be able to get into park behind the ranger station. So, beautiful campground though. Really beautiful here. Finished my orientation. And now we're going to go get parked in our site. And I hope we get enough solar to get through this. There is an extra panel I can use if I need to. Hope I don't need to. Tell you what, it's quite warm inside the rig right now. And I was plenty warm enough with just this shirt on outside. I have a new winter jacket and uniform clothes. So we're gonna see how this works out. So these are walk-in campsites to the right. There's a camp host site back there. But I think this other one really is going to have better solar, and it's more level. So we're going to come past this one and this one, and you can see the off-duty sign right there. So now we're going to see what we can do without getting sighted.
Wake up with the sun in our eyes. Sally for